Okay, good morning, one and all. As far as our previous classes has been considered, we have a detailed look regarding the radiographic technologies. In that, in our syllabus point of view, we have to concentrate mainly on this X-ray diffraction methodology and this gamma rays diffraction methodology, indeed to inspect the materials for its different geometrical specifications, internal structure of the materials, and its overall significance in its profile view and properties. Coming in detail regarding the contents, introductory part, we heard a detailed look in the yesterday's class itself, and we'll be proceeding towards the Bragg's law. Braggs is the named scientist, and the laws that has been generated or implemented by him, indeed to identify the opaque nature and reflection considerations or different inclinational of projected rays, light rays on the object, indeed to get the results of the entire object which we need to inspect. And this is the law that is being implemented, that has been already implemented by the Bragg scientist. In that X-ray diffraction method and the process that is being involving in the X-ray diffraction method, we will be looking very much uh, detailedly. And what are the different types of methods that are being existing? We are having three different methods in the diffraction technology, particularly in the case of this X-ray diffraction methodology, and we will be looking regarding this also. And later on, the applications, advantages, limitations, and some of the references for our review. So coming to the historical review of this X-ray technology, where the cathode rays, how the ray has been generating, and how we have been identifying the X-rays among the projected rays and gamma rays among the particular projected rays. So, according to the Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen, has discovered a cathode ray generator which is being projected to a far distance from a source place, from a fixed place, and that too within a possible range of the cathode rays, and that has been named as an electron beam. The atomic particles which are being moving with an a rationalization of its speed, rationalization, or we'll be calling as an increasing of its velocity within a particular range of projection of entire these atomic particles is nothing but the cathode rays. That rays has been renamed as electron beams, which is having a high force velocity of its movement within a particular range. That beam is having a capability of passing through the medium, any of the mediums. In the studies class, we have a detailed look regarding the mediums: liquid medium, solid medium, and even the gaseous mediums. As far as the applications has been considered, in the boilers, it need to be inspected at what range of temperature it is being maintained, and under level of the water, indeed to identify the its characteristics and variations of the volumetric efficiency in the internal levels of different layers of fluids or different oil offenses. Simultaneously, in the 1912, Max von Leroy showed a beam of X-rays passed through the crystalline, and it is being diffracted with different inclinations, indeed to identify the internal structures in the form of a pictorial representations in the thin films. And that by that we'll be concluding or identifying what is the internal structure of that particular material is. After a few months in 1913, the scientist or William Henry Berg and his son Lawrence Bragg developed the relationship between cleavage phases. So here cleavage phases in the sense the crystalline structures and the surface finishings that are being existing whether it has been obtained in a linear format or uneven contents. And if this is having the uneven contents, at what range it is being destructed in the manufacturing criteria that need to be identified by passing these X-rays or X-ray beams, and that is denoted with respect to theta, and different theta variations will be existing upon diffraction technique. The beam will be getting passed only in one direction, but upon striking with respect to the lens, it will be diffracting with different inclinations and following with respect to a opaque nature. దీనికి బెస్ట్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ కనుక మనం చూసినట్లయితే, మీరు అందరూ కూడా మూవీస్కి వెళ్తూనే ఉంటారు. ఫ్రమ్ ద సినిమా థియేటర్ ఆ ప్రొజెక్టర్ విల్ బి గెటింగ్ ప్రొజెక్టెడ్, అండ్ ఎట్ ది ఇనీషియల్ స్టేట్ ఆర్ సోర్స్ స్టేట్లో వచ్చేసరికి లైన్గా కొంచెం థిన్ లైన్ విల్ బి గెటింగ్ created, and so on. So if it has been projected to a large range, automatically the opaque nature will be getting increased. That is nothing but a conical structure will be maintained, and it will be displaying on the screens what are the different already. If it is a captured existence material, then it will be displayed on the screen, or else the rays which are being passed on the materials will be captured, and those will be reflected back with respect to the incidental light rays, and that will be displayed in our screen in the form of a pictorial representation. That's what the entire significations of this Bragg's law. And by this Bragg's law, we are being identifying the internal structure alignments and finding the lens and internal variations of or structural variations of the objects which we need to measure. We need to get the overall results in the experimental basis. The Bragg has generated an equation as per his law of diffraction of X-rays. That is, n lambda is equal to 2d sine theta, where n is equal to a constant that is equal to an unitary function as per the first order reflection, and lambda is the wavelength that has been imposed by the light rays, and theta is the X-ray incident angle which is projected from the projector after striking the lens element, and d is the distance between the atomic layers. By using that particular formula, we need to find out the wavelength. Lambda is nothing but the wavelength. So this is the overall experimental setup and XRD machinery, X-ray powder diffraction method. So we are visualizing here the powder diffraction technique, right? So we have already discussed that in the X-ray diffraction, we are having three different stages or three different methodologies. In that, one of the methodology is powder diffraction methodology, and rest of the two is also will be very much similar to this particular strategy, but a slight variation in the experimental process. That is, operating parameters will be getting differed, nothing more than that. So if we have a clear cut look regarding this, the incident ray beam is being passing through on it, and the material which we need to be identified its internal structures అని అంటే in the yesterday's class we have been discussed. మనం casting process చేసేటప్పుడు if it is being exist in the three-dimensional object, any of the cuboid structures or hexagonal structures or pentagonal structures, and upon adding the casted or molten material to the molding, it will be getting on into solidification process. So this takes a very much high time for complete solidification. After getting solidification, is there any air voids that has been struck in the internal area of the casting process, or else any flash that has been generated? And moreover, this molten metal will be poured in segmental wise basis, and it leads to form different layers in the molding. So at that particular layers, what is the level of the particular layers that is being maintained as per the quantity of the molten metal induced or poured in the mold. That is also will be verified very much clearly by utilizing this X-ray diffraction method, which will not be identified by our naked eye. So different types of technologies are existing in the non-destructive evaluations. We have clearly seen in the studies class regarding that visual inspection method, radiographic technologies method, and other different kinds of methods. And particularly in this X-ray diffraction method, the internal structures cannot be detectable with our naked eye, can be very much accessed by this X-ray diffraction method with particular deviations which are being existing internally, and the voids that has been placed in the form of casting, and even in the different types of applications such as welding applications, surface finishing applications, milling applications, drilling applications, boring, etc., whichever that are being required for our mechanical basis. And coming to the point of this X-ray diffraction, which is particularly a powder diffraction method, it's an analytical technique which is used primarily to indeed to identify the crystalline material and at a range of unit level of dimensions and unit cell of dimensions. In our MMS subject, material science and metallurgy subject, we have been learned this unit cell. What is meant by unit cell? And upon combination of different types of unit cell, lattice structures will be identified, and the scientist Bravis has defined 14 different lattice structures, and to what lattice structure the object that we are measuring in this X-ray diffraction method is belongs to, we need to verify. That is, either it may be of a face-centered cubic in the cyclic process, or monoclinic process, or triclinic process, or bilateral diclinic process, or else it may be related towards the that is nothing but the hexagonal closely packed structure, and in that submergedly either it may be of the face centered cubic, base centered cubic, or this body centered cubic. So these different structures that has been defined in our Bravis tabular column need to be verified in the case of this X-ray diffraction, that will specify the entire mechanical properties of our object which we are being measured. And based upon those mechanical properties, we will conclude that whether that particular material is can be utilized for the application which we are selected. For example, the internal case of the internal frame body of an automobile need to be considered. Presently, we are utilizing cast iron and mild steel. Why can't any other light material can be utilized indeed to increase the velocity of the automobile in the dynamical area by satisfying the same strength basis? That's the major point. అదే క్యాస్ట్ ఐరన్ మెటీరియల్ ఎంత స్ట్రాంగ్ అయితే ఉంటుందో, ఎంత లోడ్ అయితే క్యారీ ఆన్ చేస్తుందో, అంతే లోడ్ వేరే మెటీరియల్ ఏమి చేయలేదా? By decreasing its weight decrease cheyali anante ferrous content of material should be decreased to maximum extent. So adi decrease chestu manam chudali anante non ferrous content of materials which is having the similar strength should be utilized, such as aluminum, magnesium, titanium, etc. And these three present primitive most materials in the formation of alloys with respect to the iron composition also. And if it has been replaced, automatically the strength will be balanced, weight of the product will be getting decreased due to that gravitational force that will be acting on that particular material will be getting decreased to maximum extent, and velocity of the object will be increased, nothing but 70 kilometers per hour, maybe increasing to the 80 kilometers per hour, and even fuel efficiency also will be getting increased. That is one of the innovative idea or experimental basis need to be obtained. So indeed to go on with respect to the manufacturing process, we'll need to verify or we'll need to process regarding the simulation conditions. So in that simulation condition, we are utilizing these kinds of techniques. That is an X-ray diffraction method, right? Where the diffraction patterns are from all the process of crystallines. Okay, whether the light that is projected will be getting fall on that particular diffracted crystalline element and will deviate its path exactly to the perpendicular basis, or we'll be calling as a right angular structural basis. Right angular directional basis will pass, and the reflections will be captured by the X-rays rays and will be stored in the filmy orientation in the form of a pictorial representations. And that is the actual process that is being generated in the experimental setup. And coming to the diffraction methods, how many types of methods are existing? As we have already discussed, that three different technologies are being existing. And just now we have been discussed regarding the powder diffraction technique. This is the third one, that is a powder diffraction technique. And initially, two more different techniques are existing. First one is an Lau method, and next rotating crystal method. So X-ray diffraction method can be progressed in three different characteristics or three different subclassifications. And first one it is an Lau, and next rotating crystal, and next one it is an powder particle. Coming to the first signation, in the Lau method, the orientation has to be progressed by the crystalline element, nothing but the crystalline alignment which we are being utilized here. This is a crystalline element. So light rays will be getting passed on here, and this crystalline element will be in a rotation position. Cylindrical ga same axis lo maintain అయిపోయి ఇక్కడ revolute అవుతా ఉంటుంది rotation basis. That's what here the orientation represents. And next it is a single crystal. We are utilizing only the single crystal. There is also placed only the single crystalline material, and only polychromatic beams are produced here with respect to fixed angle. You have been observed here, there is an fixed inclination existing here, and but here it is only following with respect to one projected light ray beam. But poly in the sense not only the single line, single light ray beams. So different sources will emerge their light rays or project their light rays onto this particular single crystalline structure. So here see, orientation will be progressed, single crystalline material will be utilized, but polychromatic beams will be utilized. Okay, the light rays that are being projected in from different source alignments, but the angular specification, as per the angular specification, it's a fixed angle for this crystalline material. Coming to the point of, and these are the requirements that need to be framed in the experimental setup. And second one, moving on to the rotating crystalline structure. There is an lattice constant indeed to find out whether constant. Make a note, this is a constant. So constant in the sense any one of the crystalline structure in the universe, Bravis has been discussed regarding the 14 lattice structures. So each and every kind of the material that is being available in our universe should be satisfied with respect to any one of those 14 structures or 14 Bravis lattice structures, right? And here also we will be utilizing only the single crystal, but as per the diagram we have been seen now, monochromatic beam only will be passed. That is nothing but only a single light ray projection will be considered. Next one, it is an variable angle. That crystalline can be varied its inclination based upon the requirements. We need to observe, right? Because variable of inclination relates to finding of the internal structures, the first thing, and second one, it is an edges also can be verified for each and every alignment, depth considerations can be verified, and face centered cubic structures can be verified, base centered has to be verified, towards the top of the object and towards the bottom of the object, different right sides and left sides, and throughout the object different geometrical specifications are existing. So in need to verify that the splitting or diffraction has to be considered from the crystalline that has been acquiring from the projected light ray beams. So simultaneously, same considerations will be getting in the case of this powdered technology with a lattice parameters, need to follow the lattice parameters, and polycrystal or powdered structures. So powdered is nothing but will be having different kinds of atomic particles. Powder is a combination of different individual, that two individual atomic particles. But here, when you have been observed in the lab and next rotating crystal methods, here there will be a single crystal. Here also there will be a single crystal. But here, polycrystals. Polycrystals in the sense combination of several mini or minute crystalline structures, that is nothing but the powder structures, right? And here also will be imposing only the monochromatic light beam and varying its inclination indeed to identify our different required parameters. That is a These are the three different diffraction methods that will be utilizing in the X-ray diffraction methods. These are the internal or overall experimental process in the case of this Lau method. That is, the orientation is very much large in the case of single crystalline structures, which the rays will be transmitted through a fixed crystal, and the diffraction of beams will array the particular spots which we need to identify in the object that has been placed over there, and that will be represented in the film in the form of a curves, right? And if those representations has been obtained in an considering situations without deviating the opaque nature, without deviating the basic opaque nature, then we will come to know that entire the object can be visualized according to our requirements in the display screen. That is a major conspiracy here. See, the X-rays are being passed, crystalline structure is getting accessed over here. From the crystalline structure with different theta or different opaques, the light rays or light beams are getting splitted from it, and nothing but the velocity of the X-rays will be very much high at this particular point of review, and here it is deviating the velocity of atomic particles at different opaque natures, which is following a conical structure over this, and film has been placed out here, and here there will be having two different methods. First one, it is an by transmitting the entire these uh, beams, light ray beams onto that particular material and capturing its representation both internally as well as the external geometrical specifications that need to fall on the display screen. That is the first phenomena. And next thing it is, second one, it is an back reflection Lau method. Back reflection method. See this, X-ray is being passed, X-rays are being passed, and there will be a thin filmy hole structure that is being maintained. There is nothing but monochromaticity of light ray beam which is passing to the crystalline structure which is placed after the film, which is placed after the film, the crystalline structure, and it will get diffracted in its circumferential area, and its circumferential area that too above its conspiracy. సో అబోవ్ ఇట్స్ కాన్ఫరెన్సీ ఇన్ ద సెన్స్ మన యొక్క డ్రాయింగ్ టెక్నాలజీలో కనుక మాట్లాడుకున్నట్లయితే అబోవ్ హెచ్పి బిలో హెచ్పి అని అంటాం కదండి. సో అబోవ్ హెచ్పి ఇన్ ద సర్కంఫరెన్షియల్ ఫినామినా, right? That too, a conical structure that will be maintaining towards its top view of representations. So hence, the objects need to be measured will be captured with respect to an return or reflection rays, and that will be getting fall on the film or display, and that will be captured on the particular display. We'll be verifying in such a manner. This is the theory related to the back reflection method of Lau and transmission Lau method just we have been discussed. Coming to the second point, that is rotating crystalline method. In this particular method, the crystallines which is mounted with a particular axis that is fixed at that particular axis, and the monochromatic light rays of beams are being passed on that particular material. And we are having one more point, that the inclination will be getting varied. As per our Bragg's angle, there will be some hard points where a particular dimensional accuracies will be in a standard measurements that will be getting identified, and that the lattice constant of the crystal can be determined by means of this particular method. Lattice, as we have been discussed already, there will be an 14 different structures, and to which structure among these 14 to 14 Bragg's lattice structures, the finding or specimen which we are being observed is belongs to, when can be determined very much easily by finding the wavelength of the reflected light rays that has been obtained in the backflow orientations. That is the rotating method. Just we have been seen, we will be seeing with respect to the diagrammatical representation. This is the X-ray source, the beam that is being incidenting, and crystalline structure that is being existing internally, which is isolated, and cylindrical component, which is having n number of filmy structures surrounded towards this crystalline structure, will have its movement that is being obstructed towards its ground level, that is being obstructed towards its ground level, and rest of the almost all the its surrounding surface areas, it tends to move, it tends to move, and the reflected beams will be captured. And this is the pictorial representation in XRD machinery. And XRD machinery, the reflected beams will locate and identify different shapes and size of up to a unit cell range. So combination of different unit cells, lattice, and up to the unit cell range, the object which we need to measure can be captured in this particular method. Moving on to the third category, that is powder method. This method is used by exhibiting the monochromatic X-ray light ray beam. And next one is an second category, it is polycrystalline samples. So polycrystalline samples may be differed as per the materials. For example, aluminum powder will be utilizing, or iron powder will be utilizing, or calcium powder will be utilizing, indeed to verify the entire structure, either it will be in the surface level or else the internal structures of the materials, to get diffracted in n number of directions from the projected monochromatic light. So individual parts will be existing, individual polycrystalline structures will be existing indeed to diffract into different inclinational levels, indeed to identify the overall geometrical specifications of the object need to be measured. That is possible in our powder diffraction technique. So if you have been observed in the diagram, it is clearly specifying the powder crystalline particles that are being existing here. So mini particles, and in place of this, in the before two different techniques, and polycrystalline material is not at all utilizing. So before, monocrystalline structure has been utilized, only one solid crystalline structure has been utilized. But here the powders is a combination of different atomic particles or small crystalline structures placed out here that will attract the incident light ray beams and will deviate its number of orientations or opaque structures that will be identified to a major category, right? As per the Bragg's equation, we'll be substituting the length of this particular opaque, and we'll be identifying the wavelength of each and every crystalline generated reflection and captured on that particular film, right? By this, we'll be finding the entire geometrical specifications in the experimental basis. And this is a powder diffraction pattern for each and every category. each and every particle which is being specified here maximum wavelength deflections, and this wavelength deflections should be clear or should be equal for our theoretical calculations and with respect to the results that has been obtained in the oscilloscope, right? It should be simultaneously equal upon our manual calculations, that is theoretical calculations, and the results that has been obtained in the experimental basis. So applications, where we will be utilizing this? In a mineralogy or metallurgy applications, we will be utilizing this X-rays, particularly to determine the arrangement of atoms in the minerals and the metals. And in biological also, we will be utilizing this indeed to identify the actual structures that has been, is there any malfunctionings or cracks that has been observed for an our particularly if you have been considered any one orthogonal strategy in the case of this biological, if there are any cracks that has been identified in the bones or different joints, that can be identified, or else it can be verified in the case of this penicillin or insulin that is being generated at the bottom end of our lungs, and how much cholesterol that has been existing at each and every part of the body can be inspected very much clearly. These are the applications, and these are some more applications for atomic arrangement, and particularly indeed to identify or measure the size, shape, and internal stresses that has been produced based upon the given forces on the particular object. Right? There are some of the limitations towards this. The skillful work that is necessary for operating on this particular machinery, and for mixed material, the detecting limit will be of -2% of the sample. And the worst is high angle reflections cannot be over relay in the case of this X-ray diffraction method. Moving on to the gamma rays, it is a big superior in the range of frequency with respect to the X-rays. X-rays కన్నా కానీ కొంచెం ఎక్కువగా its frequency levels will be existing. That is nothing but it will be increasing in its velocity concept, and frequency also will be very much more depending upon its operating parameters. So hence gamma rays is typically having the frequency of above 10 exahertz, or will be calling as greater than 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 19 hertz. Okay, the energy will be having more than 100 kilo electron volts, right? So what will be its wavelength in the range? It's typically less than 10 picometers, that is 10 to the power of -12 meters, less than the diameter of the atom. Next one is an gamma rays. It is an electromagnetic waves. So previously we have discussed these rays can be controlled by magnetic diffraction techniques also, and its highest frequency and shortest wavelength creates the clear cut image detection which in the objects we need to measure. When compared to the X-rays, gamma rays has the highest velocity ratio and will give the clarity representations as an output by its highest frequency and shortest wavelength when compared to the X-rays. This is the greatest advantage that we have been obtained from the Y rays other than the gamma rays. Coming to the characteristics of the gamma rays, it's an radiation is short, as you have been already discussed that short wavelength and highest frequency, not deflected with respect to the magnetic field, even though the magnetic field is existing or imposing, it plays a major